This episode of the Off-Road Podcast is sponsored by Warn, Power Tank, and Medical Gear Outfitters.
Off-Road Podcast, episode 300. What, 300? Easter Jeep Safari.
Tonight, Aaron doesn't die. Jeremy starts to get put back together, and Ben is back from FCC jail.
Welcome to the Off-Road Podcast, a podcast about everything off-road. We cover the news, review products, and interview people in the off-road industry. I'm your host, Ben, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Aaron and Jeremy, and joining us tonight is Andy from Warren and Lee from Overland Radio.
The weekend review is brought to you by Medical Gear Outfitters. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting to have a casualty on the trail? Check out medicalgearoutfitters.com to get straightened out. Medical Gear Outfitters has everything you need, whether you're going out for the day or traveling on a year-long expedition. Head over there to get off-road specific kits that meet all of your needs. And while you're there, make sure you use Off-Road Podcast for 10% off.
You know, it's handy when you get something like the SWAT T. You guys seen those?
No.
So I got one of the. I actually got two of these because I've got kids, and you spread it apart, and that's how when it's tight enough around somebody's arm for a tourniquet. Pretty neat.
It's just
tool.
a rubber band?
It's like a giant rubber band.
Can you put that around your kid's mouth to shut them up occasionally?
I bet.
You
You
know
could.
what? The cool thing is that it's not only, can you use it as a tourniquet, you could also use it as a pressure bandage or gag on a small child, I like it.
That works.
We don't condone that here at the Off-Road Podcast.
Bases are covered. Bases are covered.
And I'm sure neither does SWAT T or Medical Gear Outfitters, but they're handy. I was looking for something because I've got small kids. I've got a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, and an 8-year-old. They don't have the biggest of arms, and most standard tourniquets probably won't work for them. So I figured, hey, this is affordable, small, and will work
That's
for
pretty
kids.
neat.
So, yeah.
So the real question is, do they have anything to fix what's going on with Aaron? And I think that's a perfect segue. Aaron, what have you been up to?
Well, I don't know if anybody noticed on the last episode, but I was starting to die during the last podcast, and I ended up getting the Rona. I tested positive for the Rona in the middle of the week last week, and it's been kicking my butt. Mostly just lots of aches and pains and shortness of breath, that kind of business. Not sleeping good, but I'm on the uphill side. I walked a half a mile today. That took a lot out of me to walk that half mile. I walked down to my creek at the back edge of my property just to take the kids for a walk and get the dog out of the house, to give my wife a break, because now she's cooped up with everybody, including me, because we're all on quarantine. So that's what I've been up to. Other than that, I ended up buying a new engine for my Titan swap, since the one that came with my truck was DOA. So there's a picture of the new engine sitting in the shop. So now I just have to find time to shove it in the Frontier. It'll be that easy.
It's a nice engine stand.
Yes, the tire came free with the engine purchase. Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
We passed the savings on to you.
I think so. They sure do.
Hey, it's an all-terrain, right? It looks like it.
It looks like it.
Might make for a great fire later on.
I think it's Ben's new replacement tire.
Yeah, I'm just going to actually send it up to Ben's house so he can use it as a spare.
Although it looks smaller than a 33.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's all I've been up to is trying not to die and nothing else.
It's a good plan.
Always a safe plan. Well, Jeremy, what's new with you, man?
Well, I finally got axles in.
What? They actually delivered them to you?
Yeah, they're actually here. It only took, I ordered them in late October, and they showed up in early April. So, I mean, hey, we're getting there. Parts are starting to come in. Wow, I mean that's pretty much all the parts I've ordered so far. So I got to get those installed. Right now they're sitting under the Jeep. I bolted them up with the upper and lower control arms, both front and rear. I got the the springs in both front and rear. I got the shocks in the front, and threw in the bump stops. Just took a guess at what I think I'm going to need for bump stop, and we'll adjust it after the fact. But yeah, I just need to start centering the axles, and then get the drag links installed and start measuring for pinion or for pinion. Well, I need to measure the pinion angle obviously when I'm centering the axle, but I need to measure for the drive shafts and then get those installed once I order them. So Ben threw up a picture of the front axle, so that's sitting in there, looking good. It's starting to look like a Jeep again, and then
that gold looks beautiful.
yeah, I kind of like it. I don't know. I'm a little torn on the gold, but hey, it looks good with the red, so I'll get that.
Matches the hubs.
Yeah.
How heavy that is. Even with 6 people here, we had a hard time moving them and had to get my neighbor to bring over his dad's engine hoist to A, get him out of the truck, and then B, get him underneath the Jeep. So they're in position.
Yeah.
That was the hard part. Now it's just fine tuning. How about you, Ben? What have you been up to?
Well, I took last week off. If anyone was wondering why I wasn't there, it was my birthday week and my anniversary. So I've been married 10 years now. So we went camping. But before that, I had to get my bumper was looking absolutely disgusting. Rust all over it because I did a crappy job painting it the first place. So I went through and I spent a lot of time cleaning that rust off. What a pain in the ass. Just terrible. It was a pain. It's what I get for not prepping it right the first time. And then I went through and I was going to have it professionally done, but I didn't have time to wait for that. So I went through and I just cleaned it myself with wire wheel and lots of other wire wheel bits. And then I sprayed it with the hammer Rust-Oleum hammered finish black, and it's actually more sparkly than anything, which is kind of funny. It's like sparkly black. It's like unicorn farts on it. So
tonight
looks good. The photo I saw looks good.
Yeah, I thought I had it saved somewhere, but I don't apparently. So yeah, I got that done. But before I was like, I'm going camping. I'm like, I'm not doing any wheeling, but since I have this off, why don't I put my winch on since it's been sitting in the garage? So I got that winch on and I had to fight to get my old line back on it. Not the easiest thing with the Xeon getting that line in. It took a pry bar. So it's you get like a metal wire included, which would have probably worked great with the factory line, but I was using an old line. And before I did that, I washed it. That's what the water looked like afterwards. This is why you wash your synthetic rope, because even if it's not dragging in the mud, it'll look like that. So
that's a good point. Yeah. Wow.
That was absolutely disgusting. So yeah, I got my winch line on. I had to use paracord and a pry bar, and a sawhorse to get it through, but I got it on, got it all wired up, and then I went camping at a state park where I absolutely didn't need it. But the wife got to use the rooftop tent, and now we're shopping for a teardrop trailer.
Hang on a second. You say the wife got to use the rooftop tent? Does that mean that you didn't get to sleep up there? Only she did?
No, I got to sleep up there too, but she had not slept in it yet. So, she likes sleeping in it, but she did not like the idea of having to climb down the ladder in the middle of the night. So she's like, now I want a teardrop, and the boys can sleep in the rooftop tent. So that's what we're shopping for now.
I thought you already have a teardrop.
I don't have a teardrop. I have a truck bed trailer.
Oh, what's the difference? A truck bed with a canopy. It's like a teardrop.
Yeah, except I won't fit in it.
Just build a sleeping platform. It'll be fine.
Yeah, there always is the Opus.
Yeah. What's that run though, price wise?
About 27.
Yeah, she's
100 or 1,000. Just kidding.
Right,
yeah,
Andy?
yeah, yeah. But think about it. You got heating and air, central heating and air. You got 4-burner stove, big fridge. You sleep 7 people in here.
Yeah,
Ben already has a pop-up trailer.
yeah, we've got a pop-up trailer, so
Well,
we're looking.
oh yeah, there you go. You're ready then.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're looking for something a little smaller. So I don't know. She's on the idea of a teardrop trailer right now, and I'm not away from telling her no. So I'm like, yeah,
No,
it's good to me.
until
Let's
she
do it.
sees the price.
Oh no, she's seen the price on some of them. She's like, nope, not this one. I'm like, but this one's perfect. No,
Yeah.
we're shopping around. We'll see what happens. Right now
I
I'm
mean-
encouraging her.
You can get them pretty cheap if all you care about is the shelter.
Yeah, and well, so my big thing is the shelter and then a roof rack. Everything from there I can modify. And she wants one where the back pops up and there's a kitchen area. Some of them
see,
don't have
cha-ching,
that.
cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah. Goes up and up, and I'm
It's the whole this,
yeah,
Yeah.
Which one?
and I'm telling her buy once, cry once, and she's like, well, if there's payments, I'm gonna be crying every month. So
That's the American way.
yep.
Sure is.
Well,
Yeah, it sure is.
the kicker is we just paid off the camera, so we have 0 debt right now except for the house, and she's in the I don't want to have more debt, but I want this. She wants an FJ Cruiser, and I'm like, well, those are like $10,000, and she's like,
Double that amount, Ben.
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
they've gone.
Yeah, double that amount.
I saw one a couple months ago for $10,000. It was in Montana.
Did it have an engine?
You did have
Yeah.
an engine,
Yeah.
but this,
Did you see there was that? Did
I
you see
guess-
that one on Bring a Trailer a couple weeks ago?
No,
It was an 07 with like 20,000 miles on it and went for what, $30,000?
Good
my
night.
goodness, I would have been happy with that.
They say to get the ones that are after 2011. Is it 2011 and after? They
Yeah,
did some big major change to them or something.
They
But
changed up.
I
the
got a
axle.
buddy that's got one, and he loves that thing.
Oh yeah. Oh
Mhm.
no, I love the FJ Cruisers too. It's just it's the whole money thing, and arguing with the wife about I want to spend money, she doesn't. So, and then she was looking at what was it? She found an 80 series Land Cruiser, and she's like, I wish we would have never sold it. And I'm like, I didn't want to sell it. You were the one that wanted to sell it. So, get this. I've had since we've been together, I've had 3 vehicles, or no, I guess I've had 6, but.
3, 6, who's counting?
Well, the
Not
2
9.
The 2 Jeeps,
12.
the FJ and the Wagoneer don't count. I don't count those because they weren't dailies.
That's some
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to go by your method of counting cars, because in that case, I have 2 cars, not 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's like the one that wants to go through all these vehicles, and like I didn't want to sell my JK, but we had too many children, so
Well, I mean, you should have bought a 4-door. So
you know what? That's probably my biggest regret with that JK is I wish I would have bought a 4-door, but I wanted a real Jeep. What a bad attitude to have at that time.
Well,
Mhm.
Also,
It's
wasn't-
all about being. It's all about being.
also wasn't planning on having 3 kids at that time, so
Damn.
Life happens.
life
sure
happens.
does.
Yes, it
Well,
does.
we got Lee from Overland Radio with us. It looks like, Lee, are you in like one of those pop-up bathroom tents?
No,
Is that
man,
where you're
I'm in the
hanging out?
Opus. I'm in the Opus. Look, it's the Opus, man.
That's pretty sweet. I hear you talk about that from time to time on the show.
Yeah.
You even let other people from the show sleep in it with you. Mistakenly.
God. Listen, there are just some things that, you try to be nice to people, and when they're in a pickle, and you get gassed. That's all I'm going to say.
Brent wants to know if when you say 3 kids, you actually mean 6 kids, Ben.
That could be why we have the expedition,
Oh boy. Well, Lee, you mentioned before the show that you've been home for like 4 days this month. Where have you been traveling recently?
Up until last week, I did 7 states and about 5,400 miles. So I was in Well, I left Oklahoma, so I did New Mexico, Arizona, California, Nevada, Idaho, Colorado, Kansas, back to Oklahoma, and now I'm back. Now I'm in Arkansas. I've been here for the last few days, and so I've only been home about 4 days in the last month. And
Yeah.
guys,
Your
I'm
wife
gonna tell
must be
you,
loving that.
dude, she'll send me a text message, and she's like, "Hey, well, like even out there, she's like, hey, your account's getting low on money. I just transferred some money over," and I was like, "See you in another week." so
Whoops.
yeah, so she just sits there and she keeps transferring money into my account so I can go travel. And I came home, and it was the funniest thing. I came home and it was all, everybody happy, and my daughter, she was, excited to see me. And within 48 hours, my wife's like, "I see you haven't unpacked the truck." And I'm like, "Well, I got to leave this weekend to go do this radio thing at the grand opening." And she goes, "Are you going to leave again for another month?" And I was like, "Do you want me to?" She goes, "Do you want to?" I was like,
Is this a trick question?
Yeah, this is a trap.
Yeah, I feel like I'm being trapped. Yeah. And she goes, "Nah, you need to come home. I got a couple of things you need to do. But after that, if you want to leave again," which I do, I got to leave in May and go back to California for the Opus run. And then from there, I'm going to Wyoming. So I'll be gone almost all of May through mid-June. Then I come home, and then I go to the west or East Coast for another Opus run.
Oh, wow.
You said
So
Arkansas, right?
yeah, I'm in Arkansas.
You're not far from the guys there at Colby Valve. I believe they're in Arkansas too.
Whereabouts in Arkansas?
I don't know. I could always shoot them a text.
Oh,
Yeah,
here
I'm in,
I've got the. I happen to have. Amazingly, I happen to have the Colby Valve card on my desk.
Boom.
Looks like they're in Springdale, Arkansas.
Oh hell, I'm 40 miles. Yeah, I'm probably 40 miles from them then. Yeah.
They're good folks.
Yeah, yes, they are.
Talking to them for a few hours at least, minimum. Every time I'm on the phone with them, it's generally a long conversation, and then a good one at that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, Andy, what have you been up to? Have you been gone all month as well?
I was gone 10 days. We drove our 92 Mitsubishi Pajero and invaded Easter Jeep Safari. And so we had Oregon, we're in Oregon, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, back to Utah. So, and then, we were on the road for about 10 days. Did Easter Jeep Safari for a week and got to run some trails, worked some booths. It was great to get out in front of people again and actually met Lee there. So
we did.
Yeah, small world thing. And so, but anyway, we had a vendor. Warren had a vendor booth at a hotel every day of the event, and we had 2 days at Dixie 4-wheel drive. That's right, my wife and me right there, invading Jeep Safari. Just the Pajero, if you just blend in. We did motor through some campsites, and people are just kind of like hi and waving, and it was beautiful outside. My windows down, and a person said to me, "Nice Jeep." And I said, "Oh, thanks. It's a Mitsubishi, but thanks anyway." So, but it's all good. It's all good. I love me some Jeeps too. So, we took the Pajero out there, and it was, like I said, it was great to see all kinds of people again. This is the first booth I'd worked in over a year, and it was really nice. The weather was fantastic, and got some time on the trails and all that as well. So. And then otherwise, it's just continually working on R3 90s JDM Mitsubishis. So replaced a brake caliper Saturday on the front of our van, and then having some work done on the white Pajero that you showed starting tomorrow. Some underbody rust treatment, and then preventative, I should say. Got to have a fuel filter replaced. I still need to do an axle seal on it. And but there's always something to do on old cars. So
you mentioned when we had you on a few weeks or a month back, I can't remember, about upgrading your turbo or pumping up the boost a little bit for this trip.
Yeah.
How did that work out?
It worked out really well. So I have the engine is making about 12 to 14 pounds of boost. And that was pretty happy. This new engine that we have on it, it had 2,000 miles on it when we left. It's got about 4,000 miles on it now, a little over that. We averaged 21 miles a gallon with that little Pajero, mostly a headwind, which was, not optimal for fuel economy or performance. I mean, it's happy at 70. It'll do 75 and over, but it's happiest underneath. Yeah, it's around 70. So when you have a headwind, it's working pretty hard to get all those horsepower to the ground. And by all of those horsepower, I mean all 100 of them. So yeah, so it, like I said, it's happy at 70, but 70 with a 30-mile-an-hour headwind, it's not so happy. So
yeah, that's cool. I think those things are so neat.
it's fun. Slow but fun.
Did you guys camp were you at a hotel there, or did you camp in, you have your tent, or what'd you?
No, we have the corporate thing. We got the hotel, which I'm okay
Gotcha.
with. So yeah,
It was windy out there.
Oh yeah. I don't doubt that. Well, a couple mornings it was in the or upper 20s. It was pretty cold.
Yep.
So
yeah, and at night it was crazy because the skies are just so clear out there, and I mean you can see the stars, and it's just beautiful. And if it's for the most part not a bunch of wind blowing through the canyons, you can hear the creaks of all them Jeeps riding around. You can just hear things popping and squeaking.
Okay.
And
save it for the main save it for the main topic. You're getting ahead of yourselves there, Lee. Save it for the main topic.
I'm just kidding. No, it was beautiful. It really was.
Hey guys, we're looking to reach more listeners. We're going to start reading Apple iTunes reviews on air. If you hear yours, send us a message with your address, and we'll send you an Off-Road Podcast sticker. You can find all of our social media by just searching our name. Now, go hit that subscribe button.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Patch. Head over to patriotpatch.co and check out their selection of great patches, shirts, cleaning mats, signs, and stickers. You can also join the Patch of the Month Club for $15 and receive a patch, matching sticker, and artist proof each month.
Sound good there, Aaron.
Thank you. I didn't sound dead.
And what is the patch of the month this month?
It's still Thumper. I never did look up the designation for that grenade launcher, so I'm not sure exactly what that is.
25 millimeter.
No, I think it's 40, but I don't know the M number for that launcher.
depends on the size of the eggs.
Yeah, I think so. They're grade A. They're grade AA, I think.
I don't know. Now somebody will have to go measure a standard egg size and tell us what it is.
There we go.
Well, this week we have a special treat. We got winching tips with Andy live. And so this week, Andy, do you want steel or synthetic rope?
Oh, I'll tell you what, that is the number one question that we get at shows online. I've written about it multiple times, and we get the question all the time. So here's the long and short of it. It's up to you. So each has its pluses and minuses. Steel cable is exceedingly durable. It is abrasion resistant. It's sort of a set it and forget it kind of thing. Synthetic rope is lightweight, easy to handle. It doesn't develop sharp burrs or anything like that that can potentially cut your hand. And it also doesn't store the potential energy under tension like a steel cable does. Now, on the minus side, steel cable is heavy. It does develop those burrs. It can bird's nest and get all wrapped up real easily. And additionally, it does store that potential energy in the unlikely event of a rope failure, especially if you don't respect it. It can whip around. Synthetic rope is its number one enemy is going to be abrasion. So if you're going to drag it over something, you got to make sure you lay down a sliding sleeve. It can pick up dirt and whatnot like that. So there's a little bit more maintenance to it as well. So steel rope is hard to cut or break, but it's heavy. Synthetic rope is easy to work with, but is easier to break. So regardless, wear your gloves with either one of them. That's something I always tell people, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, synthetic rope, you don't need gloves. Well, I've gotten rope burn before, so and plus which it can pick up sticks and glass. But my preference is synthetic rope. It's easier to handle, lighter weight. Just got to be a bit more careful with it. So if you're doing a lot of utility work, maybe steel is a good option for you. But regardless, respect the rope, use winch line dampers, stay where you're supposed to stand, all that stuff. So follow safety techniques regardless.
Good stuff.
Hey, we got some love. Yeah.
Go ahead, Ben.
We got some love from India, from Navneet, and I think I said that wrong. I hope I said it, or I think I said it right, and I hope I did. Right on. I've seen some awesome wheeling from India, from our buddy over there at. Oh my goodness,
I don't know.
Suspension Terraflex.
Mm.
I can't think of his name. The guy.
Dennis?
Is it Mike?
Dennis goes.
Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis goes to India, and he's showed some wheeling in India. Said it's really
Gotcha.
cool wheeling over there. So yeah.
That's awesome.
The news is brought to you by PowerTank, the ultimate mobile onboard air system for performance, versatility, and reliability. They are your source for all air-related accessories. Check them out at powertank.com.
Well, our news tonight is talking Jeep here on our first article. I know we talked about the Jeep coming out with some electric charging stations in the past. Now they're saying how many of them they're going to make and where they're going to put some of them. So that they're going to be level 2 charging stations. And what that level 2 means to the Jeep Wrangler 4xe is that it'll charge it from empty to full in 2 hours, which is really fast. I'm really surprised by that. Maybe it doesn't have a big battery.
Well, so I know the Teslas with their supercharging, it's something like an hour and a half will get you to like 80%. So I'm imagining it's a similar system to that, because you can put a lot of power in it early on, and then you have to kind of trickle it down as it gets near full, so you don't overheat the battery.
Yeah.
And Aaron, before we get people writing in complaining about the way you pronounce that, I think it's the 4xe.
It's 4xe.
You're right. Yeah, it's okay. I'm only 3/4 dead right now, so
just wanted to head off the nasty ground.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that later. So the 4xe will charge it in 2 hours from empty, so that's pretty fast. I wouldn't assume that people would show up at the trailhead with an empty Jeep, so I'm assuming people would just be topping them off before they go out there, things like that. They mentioned Moab, Rubicon, and Big Bear, plus 53 other places they plan to put these level 2 chargers, and they're going to be free for anyone who has a 4xe Wrangler.
That's pretty awesome.
Are they mostly putting them at trailheads, or are they putting them like halfway through the Rubicon?
It didn't say exactly where, but it did say placed at trailheads across the U.S. So
there's 2 in Moab already sitting there in the parking lot of the grocery store.
Oh, they're already up, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, Walker
I
Drug
think
had one.
Are they
Yeah.
Jeep specific ones?
Yeah. It's
wow.
They got this really cool slope to them, and the chargers look almost like gas nozzles at a gas pump. Andy, did you see them? You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, there's 2 there. I think it's 2. Yeah.
Well,
Sure
I know that there were a couple of 4xe on the trails at Easter Jeep Safari, so they had taken them out onto Metal Masher and a couple of trails. So
nice. I think though Jeremy, you were talking about if they're going to be in the middle of the trails. I just don't I don't imagine that they're going to sap all of their battery juice going through a trail because they're just crawling, they're going slow. Electric motors make tons of torque, so they don't need to it's not like they're revving the engine up a lot. And then if you're not moving, it's not using any juice, it's not idling or anything. So I'd be curious to know how far they could crawl or whatnot, without needing to be recharged. That'd be fun to. I'm sure someone will be putting out videos soon once they have these things in the public's hands.
The logistics of getting power up into those areas just to build a station would be almost non-existent. I mean,
Yeah.
golly. But they were neat. They were very neat.
Well, we've got a sad story here too. Unprepared family leads to disaster in Death Valley. And
oh yeah, husband and wife.
Yeah, I watch. I read some of the media coverage on this, and it was kind of sad because they had two flat tires. They failed to return from Sunday from camping and got reported missing on Tuesday. They left a note on their car. They were found on the side of a cliff on Thursday, but rescuers weren't able to get to them till Thursday, and they weren't able to get to them till Friday. Unfortunately, the husband did not make it.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about that. That's a shame.
Yep.
Yeah,
Stay with the car. Stay with the car.
I don't know. I mean, if I had two flat tires, I would just drive my ruined tires. Unless the car for some reason couldn't go, I would have just kept on driving.
Yeah, I mean, even then, like Leela just said, stay at the vehicle. So many survival shows I've seen, they always talk about staying with your vehicles as long as you possibly can, because I mean, worst case scenario, like I said earlier, burn a tire. There's a perfect smoke signal. You're lost. You need help. Burn that tire. That'll send out a big signal, and someone's going to go investigate that big black plume of smoke.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's like a last-ditch effort, but I mean, literally, you can stay in your vehicle. You've got shelter. It's going to be a lot more insulated from the weather versus like a tent. If for some reason you had a tent with you.
Do you know where in Death Valley it was?
Mormon Point, I think, is where they were found.
I can tell you what, I spent some time in Death Valley, and we did how many? I think it's like 25 miles from Yuba Hebe Crater out to the racetrack playa and whatnot, and then we went down Lippincott Grade and out Saline Valley and whatnot. But we ran into a number of people, like two-wheel drive cars on like low-profile tires driving out there, and we ran into somebody. We stopped for every person that was broken down and asked if they needed help. We had onboard air, all this stuff. And people like, oh, no, we're good. Okay. And I mean, one guy had two flat tires. It was like a rented Nissan Rogue or something like that. And the road isn't hard, but it's a ton of washboard, some of the worst washboard I've ever experienced. And there's quite a bit of sharp rock. We had, good all-terrain tires on our four-wheel drive. But, for people who aren't experienced and don't watch the survival shows and don't know what they should bring, they don't go prepared for these situations. It can be scary, having extra food, having extra water, stash of granola bars, whatever, but a lot of people don't know that stuff. So it just shows the importance of education before doing something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Go prepared.
You have to wonder too, some of these new cars, if they're newer cars, don't they have the little push the button and
SOS,
it's like an on? Yeah, I mean, did people, and it's easy to forget that that's there. I mean, quite frankly, when I had my 4Runner, I every once in a while would just happen to glance up and go, oh yeah, there's a SOS button there. Just don't think about it, but yeah, I mean, the name says it all, Death Valley. So you need to go prepared.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those places you want to carry a lot of extra water.
Well, they had what the note said, they had three days of water, I think.
Yeah, when
3 days of water. Yeah. Man, they should have stayed with that car. I know it's easy for us to sit here and go, you should have done this, you should have done that. I get it. But man, common sense just says don't take off into unknown territory where you're gonna make it harder for people to find you.
Yep.
Or
Well,
if you are, send your wife back down the road and you hang out, drink beer or whatever. Let her go find help.
Again, what he says is not the official stance of the Off-Road Podcast.
I know. I know.
oh boy.
I'm just kidding.
Are you guys gonna make me read this next part?
Yes, we are.
Oh, here we go.
It's your
All
name,
right, so
Graham.
yeah, so we got some listener feedback here, and we appreciate all listener feedback. This one is from Philly Boner, I believe is how you pronounce this. Philly Bonnier, something like that. I got 2 stars just because I like your 4x4 stuff earlier. Episode 298 really turned me off big time, and big time is capitalized. First, I carry a SIG 365 daily, but to make comments that squirrels tearing up yards so they are open season to kill, no value for life. The don't destroy, they live, killing because you don't like animals. Disgusting, cruel, coward. I will come on to the show and chat this.
Wait, two
So-
things here I'd like to say about that. One, it's cool that he's carrying a SIG. I get that. But if he can't articulate his words of any better than that, he probably shouldn't be carrying a damn gun either.
I feel like I need to get this on a recording, but he does not. He doesn't express off-road podcasts.
Well, I might feel
You
that way
guys,
too, but-
it's all me. Don't worry, it ain't
Yeah.
them.
So can I jump in here for this, Aaron? A little bit?
Go for it.
All right. So I feel that there was some miscommunication in this. I
Yeah.
think that he thinks they're regular squirrels, not ground squirrels. There's a big difference. They're very similar to a groundhog or a prairie dog in tearing up fields, which they are a legal open season for shooting. They are a pest. They tear up fields and restrict farm production, and that's the type of ground squirrels that we're talking about. Though squirrels can be very mischievous and potentially start vehicle fires, in the case of Andy with his 13 pine cones.
13 pine cones under my hood of my car yesterday.
Yes. So
Uh,
I feel like there's a little bit of miscommunication in that the squirrels we were talking about are the ones of the ground squirrel prairie dog variety that are tearing up fields, and there is a legal open season on shooting them because they are a pest.
It's not just an open season. It's like all year long, no limit. Doesn't matter what you shoot them with.
Animal control.
Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe I wasn't clear, but they aren't just digging holes in my yard, but they're digging up the foundation of my house and assisting with the flooding of my basement. One of them dug so deep into the foundation of our house that it dug through the soil and got into the basement of our house. So they're a big problem. They chew up the wiring harness in my sister's car. There's a lot of problems with these ground squirrels. So
Yes. As Brent commented here, they also carry disease, and that's something you don't want near your children.
That's
we
why
don't
you
have them here, but it's a lot like
cook 'em
having
really
wild
well.
hogs in Oklahoma. You know, we have
It
we have wild pigs, and they're a nuisance, and you can hunt them year round here because they're they tear up farmers' fields, and also it's the same concept here. I mean, we don't have those particular little critters, but
Same category. They're nuisance animals.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
not.
So
It's not for no reason that they're being shot.
So, Philly Boner, if you want to write into us with your address, we'll send you an off-road podcast sticker if you're still interested. If you're not, peace out.
Well, we got a really exciting announcement this episode. So, as Ben already said, it was the 300th episode. So, in celebration of that, and also 4th of July coming up, we're going to be doing a massive giveaway. So, this is going to be one giveaway with at least four winners. We might add some more prizes to the package as we get going, but when we're launching it, we're going to be giving away a Warn VR Evo 10S winch, a 10-pound power tank, and with air up package, a Medical Gear Outfitters first aid kit, and we're going to be giving away the Overlander. So this is the big kit, right?
No, that's the Expedition. This is the medium kit.
Right. Sorry. Yeah. The medium kit. So this is the one that attaches the roll bar. It's kind of like, it's a little bit bigger than what you would consider kind of an IFAC. Super nice kit, has everything you need if you're going out camping for the weekend. On the last prize, Warren again, we're going to be giving away a Bluetooth hub.
Wow.
And just to
That's
clarify,
pretty
that's
epic.
not like a set of Bluetooth hubs on your vehicle. This is the hub wireless. This is the hub wire. That would have made a great April Fool's thing. But anyway,
Man, no joke.
this is the Warn Hub wireless receiver. It's a controller that you plug into the side of your contactor controlled winch, except for the Xeon Platinum. And then you could control that VR Evo with it, and you can operate it with your phone. So
Wow, that's a big
Yes,
package.
I've got one and I love it. It's really fun to play with when I was winching in my line after I cleaned it and I was stretching it. I kind of just stood back and there we go. And
Yep.
I didn't have to stand as I wasn't limited by the line.
Wow,
100-foot
That's
range
impressive.
on that too. So
100 feet.
Yep.
Wow.
Or 0 feet if you want to like hold the winch line as it goes in. If you want to be in the path of danger.
somewhere
like to
between
live life on the
0
edge.
and 100 feet. Yes.
I don't think you can ever be 0 feet because you'd have to be like inside of the controller at that point.
Touching the
I
controller?
feel like you're always going to be a decimal feet away, at least.
I suppose.
That's a really interesting perspective, I think. Actually, not really, but that's okay. So
Yeah.
Well,
We're excited about 300 episodes strong. We've been doing this for a long time, and we figured what better way to celebrate our listeners than to give away some awesome stuff from our awesome sponsors.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
260 or 258 episodes. I think I've been on this show.
Weird flex, but okay.
No,
Yeah.
it is a weird. I mean, the show wouldn't have kept going if it wasn't for the fans interacting, getting some of you guys on here, and then tricking some of you guys to come on here and never leave.
Yeah.
Aaron, Jeremy. I invited Aaron on after he was a listener comment, came on a trail ride with me, and he just never left. Poor guy.
You can't get rid of me.
Nope, can't get rid of you. You're like the
I
Rona.
hope you don't leave us now.
Me too.
too soon. Too soon.
I'm just trying to make it through this episode.
Nothing but love, brother. Nothing but love.
But stay tuned to the Facebook page. The giveaway is not live yet, but you guys are getting the first hearing about it. It'll probably be live by the time the episode drops. But just stay tuned to the Facebook page for the next couple days. It'll launch.
Yep, and if you're not on the Facebooks, keep a look on the show notes. So it'll be firearmsradio.tv/the-off-road-podcast/300, and as soon as the giveaway is live, there will be a link in there too.
And you got plenty of opportunity to sign up for this giveaway. We're letting it run through. We're going to be announcing the winners on 4th of July, so you guys got some time. But make sure as soon as you guys see it, go over and get into that giveaway. So you make sure you don't forget.
Go prepared with Warn Industries. They produced the first recreational winch in 1959 and lead the industry with their dedication to quality and reliability. When you dig yourself in deep, make sure you have the right tools to get yourself out. Get Warn equipped and go where others can't. Now, let's get ready for adventure and head into our main topic.
You know what's funny is in those videos, there's nothing of me being stuck.
Videos being stuck, I guess.
You're always broken.
Yeah.
But in all fairness, I don't think there was a ditch in any of those videos.
It's true.
I'm sure that if there was a ditch in one of those videos, Ben would have been in it.
We did have that ditch one, but it just wasn't very compelling videos. Didn't throw it in.
Sorry, Ben.
It's all good.
Oh, don't be.
Okay, I really wasn't. I was just trying to be nice.
All right. Well, we gotta start this main topic off, don't we? So what? First off, what is Easter Jeep Safari? Andy, you've got an answer to that, right?
Yeah, Easter Jeep Safari. I believe this was the 54th year or 55th, depending. Some people, it's okay. So 55th. I don't know if that counts though. Last year, I saw both. I saw stickers and stuff that said both 54 and 55. But anyway,
I did too. Yeah.
Did you see that? We're trying
Yeah.
to figure. We're just going like, well, does it count last year? Anyway, so it's a gathering of mostly Jeep enthusiasts, although there's a little bit everything there, and they all converge on Moab the week before Easter. And so, being that Easter changes every year, sometimes it can be earlier, sometimes it can be later, and it's put on by the Red Rock Four Wheelers Club in Moab, and you can sign up to do trails. And there, it goes over a host of days. Warren Industries, we're always there. We usually have a booth with us. We're on the trail for 3-4 days. Other companies have runs. Other organizations have runs. There's special runs, like there's a flat fender run. There's certain runs for specific kinds of Jeeps, other kinds of vehicles. It brings in thousands and thousands of people. I'd say this year was down a little bit, just considering the pandemic and whatnot. But sometimes it brings in 10,000 plus people, I'm told. It's the second largest event in all of Moab all year long. And it's a great time. I've been, I think this is my 10th or 12th. I don't remember which one. But I look forward to it every year. It's a great people, great rigs, and usually great weather.
Yep.
So I know Andy took out the Pajero. Lee, what vehicle did you bring?
The Colorado Duramax and the Opus, and I parked the Opus and then just took off and went exploring. I went all over the place. I tried to stay a little bit away from where most of the main activity was going. To be honest with you, I didn't realize I was going to be there for the Easter Jeep Safari because I was thinking it was the next weekend. I didn't realize it started kind of that weekend that I got there. But Andy's right. It was a really neat, I mean, just seeing all those, the way everybody does their own, particular rig, and some of them, just the amount of detail to them. Plus, you got to see a lot of new stuff. I mean, it wasn't just Jeeps. Ford had all the really nice Broncos there, and they were doing rides. I saw the 392 Jeep, and I got to say that it sounds pretty rad, man. I mean, I don't, haven't seen many videos of it yet out there, but it really was a neat event. It was a little windy, a little brisk, and but it was, I think where they set up out there at is it Dixie 4x4 or Dixie? Yeah,
Dixie 4-wheel drive. Yeah,
4-wheel drive. Yeah, it's they did a good job of getting everything set up out there, and it was my understanding that's not where it normally happens.
No,
but
they couldn't get a permit
anyway
for the. It's usually held at the horse arena in town, but because of the COVID situation, they weren't apparently giving a permit, so they held it on private property out there at Dixie.
And it went well. I thought.
Yeah.
I thought it went real well. It was a lot of people out there, and again, I got to meet Andy, and it's funny. I just swear I'm standing there talking to the guy, and then when he pops up on the screen, I'm like, oh damn, I met that guy at Easter Jeep Safari.
I know him.
Didn't even realize who I was talking to. So, but yeah, it was neat. I did see one Jeep that had tracks on it, like snowcat style tracks, and that was insane. But there was a lot of different, other vehicles. You saw a lot of 4Runners, a lot of Tacomas. Didn't see many Colorados, but did see a lot of Tacomas and 4Runners.
I like the fact that the two guys on the podcast today talking about Jeep Safari, neither one of us had Jeeps, but
no kidding.
the irony there. But I will say that, to kind of piggyback on that comment, y'all, I saw a lot of those vehicles too. It's always popular with the Samurai crowd, the Suzuki crowd. I've hung out with the Zukfari guys before in the past. Shout out to ZukiWorld.com. And it always brings in a little bit of everything. So, and I see my wife here commented she got to drive the 392 Jeep as part of the launch for it. She wrote a story on it for autoblog.com. And
nice.
Yeah, that sounds like it's a handful. I mean, 0 to 60 is faster than the WRX I had, and then the ability to crawl over something the size of a WRX. It's pretty awesome.
I think the one thing that about that, and just looking at it, that my concern is, and I know this will happen in time, is how's that thing going to do in 105-degree heat, slowly going up, a trail? Are they gonna have heating problems with this thing or what? Because, I mean, it's putting off a lot of horses and a lot of heat. So, but first impressions, wow, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
but so were those Broncos. Those Broncos were just those Broncos are pretty gnarly too.
I will have to say that was the first time I had seen the full-size Bronco in person. The Warren booth at Dixie 4-Wheel Drive was right outside of where the Ford Bronco staging area was, and so I saw the 2 doors, the 4 doors, all that stuff, and I gotta say I'm kind of digging that 2-door Bronco. I'm a 2-door short wheelbase guy, and that's pretty sweet. I think it's going to be a heck of a vehicle. I think that's cool.
You like the yellow one? The yellow one?
I like, which one I like that I didn't think I would like as much as I did was they had this blue color that it's kind of like this ice blue, kind of like darker ice blue. Man, that was pretty. I dig that one.
And even the red one. Really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. They're very cool.
Yeah. And you don't expect, I think when I walked up to them to look at the interior and just look at the whole layout, they had a frame sitting out there with a frame, and how it was, there seems to be a lot of thought process, put into it. Really does. And so when you look at the sport model, it kind of, you're kind of like, it's all right. Boy, you look at that 2-door sitting out there, and the way they've already started modding those things.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
I've seen a ton of the Bronco Sports, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of nice, but I want to see a real Bronco. And I've yet to see, or I've seen one, I think, but it was only like a quick glance of it. So it's like, oh, come on, let's see a real
one. Well, they're not for sale yet.
I know.
No.
It was like a dealer one.
Remember back in y'all may not remember this, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you. But remember back in like the 90s when they had the Bronco 2 Sport, and you had the Bronco, so you had the full size that OJ ran like hell with, and then you had the little baby one. It's kind of the same thing. The baby one just there wasn't much to it, and it wasn't all that impressive. But if you got the full size, you had room, and it would tow and all that. To me, these new Broncos are a lot like that. You got the Sport that's just not overly impressive, but man, that full size. Yeah, my wife's already thinking about one.
Did you guys have a favorite vehicle that you saw at the show?
Ooh.
If you could pick one.
That's a good question. Man, favorite vehicle. There was a real gnarly Jeep that was on the run on our Meteor, on the Warren Meteor run, and I wish I could remember more about it, but it was a crazy built CJ, extended frame, V8 swap. It had all kinds of high-tech stuff on the inside, though, like touchscreen monitors. The thing was super, super cool. But the other thing that I love flat fenders, man. I just think they're so cool. And Ned Bacon has he calls it Pig Pen, and it's a 40s flat fender body, but it's on the Mahindra Roxor chassis, and it's got the Mahindra engine in it. And it's awesome. It goes everywhere. So.
Oh, nice. Huh. Well, I had 2. There were, I don't know, Andy, if you saw, but there was one guy that was riding around in an old Willys, original era Willys, that had a Ma Deuce mounted on the back of it. I'm sure it was deep milled, but anyway, it was for looks. And I like that nostalgic kind of stuff. But the other one was at the show there, at the vendor booth area, there was it was in the, I can't remember if it was in the BDS or if it was in the Fox display, but there was a Ram Prospector AEV that was just, it had like the RSI smart cap thing on the back. And it was just built to the hilt. It wasn't a Jeep. As far as the Jeep goes, there was the one company in there, and I can't. They make a self-leveling bed rack type system, and they had a really cool Jeep.
I don't remember the Ram, but I
The
dig
Ram
the
was,
Prospector.
yeah, the Ram was back up against. I think it was over where it was in the same booth with Fox, BDS, and whatever the other. I guess they're all companies together.
Right.
But yeah, it was really nice.
So we talked about the 392. Did you guys get a chance to check out the other Jeep concept / new releases that they had there?
That's another one. Like, my wife drove them all for Autoblog, so she got to drive everything from the Magneto to the orange peels and all that stuff. But they never disappoint. Those concepts are always awesome.
I thought the Magneto was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you
Maybe
can
we
go to
should have had
Autoblog
her.
and read. Yeah.
She should be on here, not me.
Yeah. So the Magneto had a 6-speed manual transmission, and you could start it in any gear. And you go to autoblog.com and read my wife's Mercedes Lilienthal story and read all about them. But they are cool.
I thought it was kind of neat that it had a manual transmission style or whatever, and a clutch, just like a traditional, but it was, anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't really grasp the whole why concept, but it was kind of cool. I guess they want to give you still that feel or the, of the 5-speed, but.
Yeah. The performance of it, I'm told, was the same as the V6, is the 3.6 Pentastar. But Mercedes, my wife, was telling me that you could put it in, you push the clutch in, you could put it in gear, and you could let the clutch out, and it won't go until you press the accelerator. So it's not, it doesn't have a flywheel or something like that. So I see we've put up the link there to that story. So
awesome!
Thank you for that. But it's a pretty interesting concept. It has we actually on our personal website, Crankshaft Culture, our Instagram account at Crankshaft Culture. We put up a video of the sound of the Magneto too. It sounds a little bit like the Jetsons flying car, kind of thing, So
that's awesome.
You would have thought I would have come across that in my past week of nearly 10 hours of social media a day that I've been doing while I lay on the couch or lay in bed. I don't remember seeing that one at all. I'll have to go.
It's the algorithm. Darn algorithm.
Yeah.
So if I remember right, it's a white Jeep with blue lettering on the hood, if I remember right.
Yep.
Well, speaking of COVID, what was Easter Jeep Safari like with COVID this year? Any weird restrictions or any constrictions outside of what we've seen?
Well, I guess it depends on where you're usually from. Like here in Oregon, we're pretty locked down, sort of still. And they had a mask mandate in Moab. I'd say about 75-80% of the people were following it, wearing their masks when they should be and all that stuff. So there was, listen, we've been doing this for a year now. If you're not familiar with what to do, like, you've been under a rock, I guess. So
yeah, I'm out. I'll just leave it. Well, what he said. I'm in Oklahoma, man. It's a free state. There is no such thing as a mask mandate here.
You didn't meet Aaron, did you, by chance? Is that how you got this, Aaron?
Yeah.
I just had a negative COVID test Friday, and I get my shot tomorrow, so it ain't me.
Not me.
Moving right along.
I'm not even sure I got to look at the notes here. Oh, there we go. Thanks for highlighting that for me. So, Andy, I know you were there for the whole time. Lee, were you there for the whole event?
I was not. I ended up leaving Thursday, I think it was. Yeah. I was told that Friday it gets even more chaotic, and I'd already been there since the previous Thursday the week before. I decided I was going to go ahead and kind of cruise on back home or towards home, and go find some other stuff to see. I saw a lot and drove around as much as I could, and I will say this: there's a lot of nice people in Moab. I got to say that the experience of the town itself was real pleasant. And a lot of times, I think when you go to places like that, sometimes they get tired of people, coming into their space or their town from out of town, and all. But they were very welcoming. They were nice. They were polite. More than happy to help. So it was a neat place. It was a really good experience, and I think I'm gonna plan on going back next year and seeing it again, just because one, I enjoy seeing all the different vehicles and then meeting people. I met so many people out there. It's great to connect and network.
What were you doing out there, Lee? You mentioned that you thought that it wasn't even Easter G Safari when you showed up. So what was your end game?
I was just a bum that week.
Yeah. Okay.
I really just was. I'd left my daughter's. I'd been up to CBI off road and Princeau in Idaho. I'd come back. I was staying at my daughter's house with her husband and kids in Ogden, and I thought, hey, I'll just go to Moab. I'm this close. I'm going to go to Moab and hang out for a few days, maybe ride a couple of trails while I get there. And immediately there's already people everywhere. So I ended up just staying. I just said, hey, instead of a 2 or 3 days, I'm gonna make a week out of it. So I made almost a week.
Gotcha.
Had you never been to Moab before?
No, I haven't. And
Okay.
I've passed to the north and passed to the south, but I had never really, stopped there. But just driving down, when you drop off of 70 and start coming in, you get, it's a weird feeling of this place is cool. I mean, it's just cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you start getting closer and the topography changes, and you look off in the distance and you see the big, rock cliffs, and you see people camping everywhere, and you're like, oh yeah, this is it.
Yeah. The first time I ever went to Moab, I flew in late. And so we drove from Grand Junction, Colorado to Moab almost in the dark. So I couldn't see anything. And then I woke up the next morning and was like, oh my God, this place is incredible. But I will tell you, if you do go, a lot of people don't go to Moab during Jeep Safari because the trails are clogged up and there's lots of people. Mercedes and I went in, I think, August of like 2015, I think it was. And you go there and there's like hardly anybody there. You can get in any restaurant you want to go to, all that stuff. You're like, where is everybody? There's nobody on the trails. It's a whole other experience going during Jeep Safari or another big event where you see people all over the place.
Yeah,
I think as big as it was and as many people that was there, and obviously like you said, there's probably not as many as it's normally been there, but I thought it all flowed pretty smooth. I mean, there was a little congestion at the north end of town where the construction was, but for the most part, everything seemed to flow real nice. And man, people were just nice, and even the people visiting from out of town they're super friendly. So great bunch of people.
It's hard not to just be in a good mood in Moab for me. It's one of my favorite places in the world, and I just, every time I go there, it's generally decent weather. There's good places to eat, great things to do.
Yeah.
It's a good place.
I would agree with that. It is a good, good atmosphere. It does make you in a good mood. You're right.
I saw one post that Ford had closed a trail and took it over for a day. Did you guys experience any of that?
Not Ford, but the Jeep, Safari. They had, they put these cool signs up along the side of the road as you're going towards the trails, and it'll list off what trails are down there and whether or not they're open or closed. And so it was really easy to navigate your way around. I mean, Andy, you think it was pretty simple. You went down the highway or road and it said these are open, these are closed. You just went to the ones that were open if you weren't with them.
And there's
Really
plenty of
nice.
trails. It's not like there's three
Oh.
trails. It's not like going up to Tahuya for the day and there's like tons of people and there's only one place to go. There's trails all over the place, and they range in difficulty from level ones all the way up to crazy stuff where you're driving up waterfalls. Pretty much, it's at the much, I'm sure, to the Moab Tourism Bureau's chagrin. There's literally something for everybody, every experience level for off-roader there. If you want to just do something scenic that's not gonna you don't even need to put it in 4-wheel drive, you can do that. And the scenery is amazing. I've driven Sand Flats Road all the way through Sand Flats into the mountains and whatnot without 4-wheel drive. It's unbelievably beautiful regardless.
Yep.
I've also been to area BFE, which is an off-road private park there. And there are trails that I can't walk up that some of these rigs can wheel up. I mean, it's crazy. So,
speaking of which, congrats on John Matthews for making podium at the Ultra 4 race that weekend.
Yeah, right. Local boy.
Yeah.
Well, local to the Pacific Northwest, anyway.
Yeah.
So, Andy, we know you guys did a Warren Trail ride, and I believe you were leading it. So, why don't you tell us about that?
So Warren did 3 runs this year. Sunday we had a media run where we had members of the media, and we went and ran Copper Ridge, which is a scenic level 4 trail. So nothing too terribly difficult, but great day on the trail, lots of fun. There was a really cool sort of off-road play area that was definitely not a level 4, level high, a little bit higher than that. So that was on Sunday. Monday we had what we call our Friends of Warren run, which is vendors and retailers and other people, racers. And we went and did Buttes and Towers, which is a new trail that sort of interconnects a bunch of other trails. Again, a level 4, but even better scenery, amazing mesas and rock formations everywhere. And then Tuesday, there was another trail run, another Friends of Warren run. And that one, they did Porcupine Rim. I actually worked the booth that day where I ran into Lee. But that was supposed to be another great day on the trail. And then we had a booth Monday through Friday at our hotel, as well as 2 days at Dixie. So, and then on Thursday, I actually I went on the TORA, TORA, which is the Truck Off-Road Alliance group, which is part of the SEMA, Specialty Equipment Market Association. So I was invited on a run there, and we did one of my favorite trails there, which is Fins and Things. And I always tell people, if you've never been to Moab and you want the quintessential experience, you don't want to break anything, but you want to get a little bit of that slick rock, some dirt, some sand, go do Fins and Things. You'll have some really good climbs, some descents, some nice turns in the sand, great views. So Fins and Things is a must-do trail for anybody who's never been there and wants to at least get their feet wet. There's plenty other more difficult trails to do, but Fins and Things is my favorite trail there.
Lee, did you have any favorite trails that you ran or anything?
No, I mean, I didn't do anything really technical. One, because, I was by myself. I didn't really have anybody else with me, so I didn't really want to get into anything crazy technical. But, I took off down Cane Creek, and I can't recall the name of the trail now, but anyway, it was a beautiful trail. It wasn't anything technical. I never had to go in 4-wheel drive. It was all dirt. There was some, rock to go over, but it was more, for me, it was more, I just wanted to absorb the scenery and the different terrains. And I mean, you could crest some of these little peaks on these trails, and when you got to the other side, it didn't look anything like everything on this side. It was just it was amazing. And I did do the LaSalle Loop, which is I think, like Andy said, you could, if you just want to drive a little road, and it went up into the mountains, and it was snowy up there. And then, I came back around, and that was just a real easy drive just to play. And, just the whole place, golly, the diverse terrain, and it's just crazy how one place looks like this and then you go over here, and granted, it's all the same sort of color, that red rock, but it looks different. There's the shapes and the way it's amazing. It really is.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
ready to
that
go
whole
back.
there's a whole sand dune area that I'd never been into until 2019, and the sand, I think it's whitewash sand dunes, but
Mhm.
it was super fun. And I mean, we have sand dunes in Oregon, but this was totally different. And I was in a Hemi swapped Jeep, which made it more fun. But it was there's just, like you said, the diversity of terrain there. I mean, there's literally pretty much everything. I mean, if you do the Cane Creek Trail, you're literally driving down a creek, in the water, in a foot and a half of water. There's sand dunes, there's rocky uphills, there's sandstone. I mean, it's slick rock. It's just something for everybody.
Yeah. 1 minute you're on a basic little dirt road, fairly narrow, and then all of a sudden you drop down and you're doing a real tight switchback, and then you drop down into the canyon and it's green down there because you're along the little river, and then you pop back out, and I mean it's dusty and sandy, and it's just cool. It really is. I mean, now I know why everybody gets so worked up about it.
So do you guys have any good tips for people who are interested in checking EJS out for the first time?
Reserve your spot early. That's funny.
That is funny. That is,
yeah.
And I think that it really hits that point home, man. If you're gonna do Easter Jeep Safari, if you plan on doing it, if you're gonna do a hotel, get it early. If you're gonna go camp, get it early. If you're gonna sign up to do trails, do it early. If you're going out to dinner, do it early. That's another tip. So, it's early bird gets the worm at EJS. Also, just make sure you bring everything that you need. Moab is a desert. Granted, there's going to be a lot more people around than other times, but you want to make sure that you've got your recovery kit, your rigs up to snuff. And although we had said there's everything from beginner to expert, just make sure the rig's in check, because you don't want to break down on the trail, because that's going to be expensive to get your rig back to town.
Yeah, make sure you got plenty of provisions when you head out on the trail. You got plenty of water to drink, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't really go anywhere without my Garmin Inreach anymore.
Same.
I mean, it's when I first got that thing, I thought, do I really need this thing? It's become probably one of my most used tools, believe it or not. I got the unlimited subscription, and it seems like more times than not, I am in a place where I can't get cell service, so I'm always texting my wife, or I send it to one of my buddies and tell them where I'm at, come meet me. So it's invaluable, but more importantly, it's just a great, safety device. So that's one thing. There's not that before you get to Moab, if you need propane, get it, because it runs out fast there. I mean, they emptied that big tank there in town at the propane place twice. And so,
Wow.
And then there isn't a Walmart Supercenter. There's 2 little grocery stores, which they're nice little grocery stores, but plan ahead, really plan ahead.
Was there anything that either you guys didn't get to do that you wanted to do that you'll make sure you do next time you go?
Yes.
Go to Canyonlands Arches. I've said that for 12 years and I've still never been. So
I didn't go either.
You know what? All right, tell you what, Lee, you and me, we need to do a trip to Moab together. It sounds like. So,
there you go.
But we're always there for work, except for the one time that my wife and I went on our own. And even that time we didn't go to Arches or Canyonlands, but one of these days I'm going to do that. So
I left there and said, I can't believe I was this close, right between the two, and I didn't go to either one of them. I didn't even, and I knew they were there. Yeah. The other thing that I would do is I want to go do the jet boat ride on the Colorado. I want to go ride the jet boats.
There are so many things to do other than four-wheeling. Like the jet boat tours. There's like ropes course places. There's rafting. There's mountain biking. There's hiking. There's I mean, it is
skydiving.
yeah, I don't need to do that, but perfectly good plan. Don't need to jump out of it. But yeah, I mean, there are so many other things to do if you don't want to just do that.
Yeah, there really is. I mean, there was even and if you like to bike, if you're a mountain biker, I mean, as you're coming into Moab from the north, there are these just huge dispersed campgrounds, but there's just trails everywhere, and you can just I have no idea how many miles, but they're everywhere, and it's got to be beautiful riding through some of that, those places, and then they got the motocross trails, so yeah.
Yeah. I love to bike. It's just the pedaling part I don't like. So
right.
The electric bikes now, guys.
I can't do the bike thing. I mean, yeah, I can't do the bike thing. The only way I can ride a mountain bike is if you take the seat cushion from a beach cruiser and put it on a mountain bike, because that little narrow seat just does not work well with my seat.
No.
I was Googling Daryl from JCR Off Road. He was out there, and he went out mountain biking one of the nights. He posted up some pictures, and I'm just like, wow, that's more scenic spots you can't get to on a vehicle.
Yeah,
that looks like a fun place to go.
There's a lot of rock climbing there too. As a matter of fact, right across from my campground, I watch people almost every day going up and down, climbing up. They had climbing classes and all kinds of stuff, and
sounds
I
fun.
think
I don't have to chop off my hand with my pocket knife.
That's why you have an Inreach.
Yeah.
There you go.
So Andy, I gotta ask, why didn't you air down?
Oh my God. All right. So I posted this video of our Pajero doing Baby Lion's Back. Baby Lion's Back, for anybody that's not familiar, is in Sand Flats Recreation Area by Hell's Revenge. It's this sandstone hill, and it's a pretty steep ascent and pretty steep descent, but it's not difficult, anything like that. And as I was leaving the run on Thursday, I thought, I haven't done it in my Pajero. I'm just going to do it. So I did it. I'm like, okay. So the next day, I get back into town, and I had more time than I thought I had before I had to work the booth at Warren. So I said to my wife, I said, let's go. I want to show you this Baby Lion's Back. Let's go do it. She said, okay, we'll get some photos and some video and whatever. And so I had already aired up to 33 PSI. I needed to get back into town later. I'm like, I'm not going to bother to air up. So we did it a few times. And as you're climbing up the backside of it, it does that famous Moab kind of hop thing, and made it to the top and whatnot. And I thought, you know what, I started typing the video. Yeah, I didn't air down, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, whatever, nobody's gonna care. Everybody comments, why didn't you air down? It would have been so much easier. I'm like, I knew if I didn't say that in the video, people would get on me about it. And like everybody, like, why didn't you air down? Like, oh God, just. I did it at 33 PSI. Yes, it would have been easier at 15, but
I was lazy that day, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm lazy. How about
That's
that?
right. Yeah.
Well, Lee, something we do for all our guests, and we forgot to do this at the top of our main topic, is to hit you with the fast 5 facts. So I'm going to do this real quick. New or old vehicle?
Both.
Summer or winter camping?
Ooh, summer.
Rock, sand, snow, or mud?
Mud.
Favorite vehicle brand?
God, this is gonna hurt because everybody's gonna want to hate me. I love my Chevys, man.
There you go. Favorite tire?
I really have taken a liking to the Nittos.
All right.
Mud terrain.
Well, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you, Lee, for coming on with us. Can you tell us where people can find you and what you do?
So overlandradio.com, Overland Radio on Instagram, Facebook as well. And yeah, we actually do the whole, it's a big complicated thing, but yeah, it's a media marketing company that I have, and we do some other stuff. So we have the media radio, obviously, show that you guys broadcast on our platform too, which we love and appreciate that. We're now working actually on a TV platform. I'll throw that out there. I'm working to negotiate some servers through Amazon to lease a big amount of servers to render video, and so there'll be more on that coming. And we do some other marketing stuff too. So yeah, but yeah, look us up. We'd love to have you.
Cool.
And Andy, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure, as usual.
Can you tell us where you we can also find you and a few of the publications you write for?
Sure. So I obviously work at Warren, so that's warren.com, and we're at Warren Industries on Instagram. We're at Warren Fans on Facebook. Me personally, you can find me at Crankshaft Culture on Instagram, on our website at crankshaftculture.com, on Twitter at Crankshaft Cult. We also have a YouTube channel that we just posted that video of me not airing down on. And we also have facebook.com/crankshaftculture. Also check out our Crankshaft Culture community, which is a group on Facebook. So I'm also the moderator on the Mitsubishi Delica Owners Club group on Facebook too. So amongst other things.
I also want to say congratulations to Mercedes on her awards she won.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She won a couple of awards from the Motor Press Guild for 2 articles that she wrote, one in the New York Times and one in, I believe, Tread magazine. And then actually Crankshaft Culture received a runner-up for best social media. So we were pretty stoked about that too. Yeah.
I just followed you.
Thank you. I'll follow you back.
Yep, I just did it just when you were mentioning it. I'm typing away. So yeah, just followed you.
Modern technology at its finest.
Yeah, I enjoy this kind of stuff, and it'll be nice. Obviously, I'll go stalk your page and learn a little bit more about what you do.
Sure, do it.
He drives Mitsubishis.
But I mean, I like everything. I like all cars, although I have 4 Mitsubishis. So
yeah,
but
I kind of dig those Mitsubishis. I think they're really neat. I'd like to have a right-hand drive one.
I've got 3 of the right-hand drives. So, but there. That's one of them.
That's one of them.
That's right. That's the one cool. I had at Easter Jeep Safari with the new engine.
2-door short wheelbase, man.
Yep. And it's got both inches of front suspension travel. So
both inches. That's funny.
Well, before we close out the show, we just wanted to thank everyone who listens to us weekly, and also thank everybody who tuned in live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, all the platforms that you can tune in to us live at. We really appreciate you guys and you guys tuning in. So please share us with your friends and help us grow, and God bless America.
Don't forget to visit Patriot Patch and join the Patch of the Month Club. Check out our Gaia affiliate link for up to 40% off. Also, don't forget to head over to Warren and Power Tank to see all of their great gear. We are a proud part of the Firearms Radio Network. Got a question or comment? Send it to us through our webpage at firearmsradio.tv or through our social media channels by searching for Off-Road Podcast. Also, you can listen to us live at overlandradio.com, Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific. When off-road, please remember to have fun, tread lightly, be safe and courteous, and thanks for listening